Good afternoon and welcome to the official Friday sponsors Bullion Now live stream. Coming to you live, just Matt and Ruben today.
Just
How you
us. Yeah, no, we're going good. Our boss is not here.
He's not. He's slacking off. 10,000 feet in the air. I don't actually know how high planes fly. He'll be so upset when he watches this back and says, it's actually 35,000 feet.
Yeah.
You know, that's cruising altitude on a 7. You
sound so flight educated right now. I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, could you believe that we work alongside an aviation educator?
Yep.
In fact, sorry, Ruben.
You're moving around.
He asked me not to move around a lot during the stream, but it's kind of a habit. I'm sort of bopping around as much as possible.
You can move around, but I'm just gonna have to sit up there and play with the focus every time you do it. It's all right.
We'll do our best. But how's the week been, Ruben? Fill us in.
It's been a pretty busy week. That's it. Without Michael here, we've kind of been hitting the ground running. We've also been sending out some of the storage emails and things like that for people that have had their 3-month storage expire and things like that. So it has been kind of a very, very insane last couple of weeks, and we kind of had the flow-on effect from last Friday where we weren't here because of the grand final public holiday, or the grand final parade public holiday.
For someone who's not a passionate AFL enthusiast, that was an incredible game. I don't know if you watched it,
I
Ruben.
have not watched it.
I am not
passionate
and I'm
AFL
not,
enthusiast.
like I said, I'm far from an avid supporter, but I had sweaty palms the whole bit. It was a very close game. So any Collingwood supporters, congratulations on a very exciting victory. I've done it again. Have I done it again? I'll look over here.
Go to that one.
This is the benefit of having multiple cameras. I can just lounge back and look wherever I like. I saw Vic in the chat. Good afternoon. Picked up his bullion today. It was very nice to meet you, Vic. It's always exciting to meet people in the store, and very strange as well when people come in and they say, "G'day, Matt. How you going?" And they already know all about me, but I often feel guilty. Like I should know who you are, but you clarified that you're a watcher of the stream, so I appreciate that very much, and it was nice to meet you.
Calypso Moon jumped in earlier this week and left us a very lovely review as well on Google, so thank you very much. But yeah, it is very weird to be like, hey, yeah, you're that person. We know you. You come and lurk in our chat.
Exactly.
Speaking of James Howard over in the UK, I was hoping to catch you today because it's very early over there at the moment with the daylight saving shift. So it's like 4:30 in the morning. So very dedicated to be watching.
Absolutely.
And that's it. I was hoping to ask you if you had managed to catch up with Michael because we hadn't heard. And it sounds like your message there that you actually haven't been able to catch up with him.
Unreal. So he talked a huge game. He said, I'll go over to the UK. I'll get a big meetup organised. Didn't do it. But like I suggested to Ruben, I think he probably booked more meetings than humanly possible. So I look forward to hearing
knowing
the
Michael,
full report.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very busy guy.
As we said, he is actually on a plane right now. He was hoping to be able to tap into some in-flight Wi-Fi, and he won't be able to watch the stream, but at least check in to chat. So we will see. I haven't heard from him in a little bit, so that may not happen. But if you see a message pop up, it may be Michael at a cruising altitude of whatever those whatever.
Yeah,
his
you
plane
can
is
tell us.
cruising
Give
at.
us the exact altitude that you're at, Michael. Everyone's curious now.
Well, that's it. But I'm not sure if he'll be able to make out what we're talking about just based on he's going to have to just go off the comments. So I don't know. We'll see how he goes.
Fingers crossed.
But yeah, besides that, we haven't heard a whole lot of exactly what he's got up to over there. I have had a couple of images through.
Are we going to show those?
Well, we can flick those up a bit later.
Yeah, did he manage to make it to the mint? Did we
did.
catch any wind of that?
We can throw them up now. So
yeah, let's have a look.
I got these. There's no actual proof that Michael himself took these photos, but I have been assured that he did go there. So this is the Royal Mint in Wales, not in England itself, as I was assuming. I was picturing it kind of smack back, smack in the middle of London.
Geez, that's a pretty grim entrance with the razor wire or the barbed wire. That doesn't really look particularly friendly, does it?
I think they're going for secure. And like once you pass that, you've got a lovely golden Shaun the Sheep entering you. I mean, how much more friendly can you get?
I'd get whiplash. It looks like you're walking into a maximum security prison.
You need a bit of both, bit of security, and then welcome. Enjoy your stay.
Royal Australian Mint, take notes.
That was an experience. I did go there as a part of our school Canberra trip, and I remember it being a lovely trip. Don't remember it giving off prison vibes, but
yeah, no, it's much more civilized and pleasant down there in Canberra.
Yep. But yeah, I have. Whilst we don't have any photos from proof that Michael is actually there, I have got a little bit of a CGI mock together of probably what our boss is doing right now.
Oh.
Hi everyone, Michael from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au.
So there you go.
I think you could see him in it. Was he flying that plane?
He was actually, yeah.
He didn't say that he was still working in that industry.
That was our CGI budget for the month. So,
wow.
But no, we have actually got a bit of an update video from him that I received this morning. So I will play the actual update video from Michael, and we can check in with how he's going.
Hi everyone, Michael from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au. So, I'm on my way home from the intrepid flight overseas. Got to say, I'm feeling pretty exhausted, but looking very much forward to getting home very, very soon. Live stream is on, and I'm sure Ruben and Matt are taking good care of everyone. And hopefully I shall be back early next week. Alright, that's it. Just wanted to say hi, and we'll talk again soon. See ya.
There we go.
There he is, the man himself. What a guy.
So somewhere between the UK and Australia, he is flying back now. So we should have him back for next week, which I'm very much looking forward to, because I've kind of haven't really known what to do for some unboxings and things lately. We've had some good products come through, but I'm kind of getting a little bit sick of my own, just me hiding behind the camera and doing some unboxings on things. So it'll be good to have Michael back to do some epic unboxings.
You've missed a tremendous opportunity, Ruben.
What have I missed?
Shoot from the hip. You could have done anything. You could have just really taken a channel in a whole new direction.
I mean, we kind of did that last time. I think there'll be a few people disappointed. We ran a whole bunch of specials, kind of
this
one
is
after
true,
the other.
actually, we did.
But with the insanity, it has kind of been the last thing on my mind. So yeah, the channel has been a little bit quiet for the last little bit. But hoping with Michael back and us getting on top of some things that we'll be back firing again. Looking forward to it.
And it was exciting to see, though. We have finally received the Quokka coins.
We have.
How about it? The iconic matte coin.
That's it. Are you okay with that comparison? Is this one that you're leaning into a bit? Or?
Well, the fact that people travel from great distances all over the world to visit Quokkas, and
they're cute. It's not like a an infamously ugly animal or something like that. It's one that people go, hey, this is a good looking, cute, cuddly animal.
I think I'm happy with that. And having been fortunate enough to go and visit Rottnest Island, I'm very happy with the Quokkas. Although having said that, my all-time favorite design is actually the first one.
It's the first one. I don't think I've met anyone that has a different opinion on that front. And I'm sure there'll be someone in chat that prefers one of the later ones. But for me, that first year was a knockout design.
Yeah, I think they aced it. And I don't know how you would improve upon that, particularly with the little leaf. I didn't actually know until I went there. I found it very difficult to get a photo because the whole thing is you go and you take a selfie with the Quokka, yada, yada. I was having an incredibly difficult time, and it's not until I realized that you actually take leaves off the particular trees over there, and that's how you get them. That's how you get their attention. Their undivided attention, so you can get up close and take some selfies. So, hot tip if you ever find yourself confused on Rottnest Island, or supposedly the Australia Zoo up in Queensland has some Quokkas. In the complete opposite end of the country, you can also see Quokkas, is my understanding. There you go.
The other thing I wanted to talk about kind of related to that was the Quokka this year was very much a design that I kind of saw the computer generated image of it and went,
Yeah, I wasn't really sold.
A little bit of an and ah, and there seems to be a couple of people in chat with a very similar opinion. They're actually a coin that looks better. I'm not going to... it's definitely still not competing with the first year for me, but it looks better in person, and we have actually had them arrive now, and we've actually got one there, and we can we'll see how we go showing it off.
Look, I don't even need to touch it. That's such a cool shot.
Yeah.
But I will anyway. Here we are.
But I think there's a little actually less detail in the face than it makes out on that computer-generated design, which is actually a good thing. It was a bit too hyper-realistic, I think. And so, yeah, definitely a coin for me that looks a lot better in real life.
I feel so much pressure when I do this. But I think that's relatively steady. Here's a question for you, Ruben, just shooting from the hip, as I so often do. Do we know if these have a micro letter somewhere on them?
I'm gonna say yes, but it isn't one I've hunted through for.
If anyone in the chat has they've been fully released and people have them now, right? Or is this brand new?
They came in yesterday or the day before.
Oh, okay. So it's unlikely that someone will have already found the little micro letter.
I think I know some people have been in to pick them up. So
found it.
There you go.
Jeez, I'm so this is what it's all about. A little bit of I Spy. It's jeez. So I'm too excited.
No. I tried to give you a little zone this week so you'd know where it was looking.
Okay.
Yeah.
For those playing at home, I can't even hold it straight now. I've completely lost it. This is so hard to see. There we go.
Someone's saying it's in the letters.
It's in the grass on the right-hand side.
Well, that's the bigger P, but is there another micro letter
in the grass?
Okay.
So if I maximize my screen here, can you see it? It's at the base. Yeah, if you're on a computer or a laptop.
You've just said, can you see it while shining the most glare on there? I know you're multitasking here, but...
I'm on my computer. I'm moving my mouse over it. And I realize that you can't see from the perspective of mine.
Yeah.
So I'll try and point to it. Have we got a pen? Have you got a Bullion Now pen? You do, just in front of your laptop there. All right, here we go. Beautiful. So the letter A, I think it's a letter A.
Normally it's a mini P.
No. There is a P, which is like the privy mark.
Oh, but then
just down here.
People are saying it's an A.
There's the letter A. Hold on, sorry.
Sorry, this is quite an operation we got going on here.
Yeah, maybe pull up to this camera, Ruben. Sorry.
Spotify is.
You can't see it, but so
it's there.
Yeah, it's a very and it's so small, and it blends in perfectly with the grass. It's the letter A. It might actually even be the designer's initials. There might be another letter there as well. But they've integrated it very, very sneakily. So if you've got a quokka, or if you happen to see one, very tiny letters. I think it might be the designer's initials. There's at least an A. But there you go. The more you know. Sorry that took me so long to get out of my system, but we appreciate everyone bearing with me.
We got there we kind of got there.
It is a little bit more of a... But if we're honest, if I'm honest, quokkas are a strange-looking animal from the get-go. So, it's not like a 1995 koala. It's not that confronting.
Are we throwing shade there? Are we?
Well, you were the one to first bring it up, so I'm just riding that wave.
Well, there's been a bit of a relook at the koala recently with the new 1 ounce koala that's been brought out.
The platinum one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's kind of been a bit of a throwback to that original design.
Yeah, interesting that you would go for that. What are your thoughts on that, Ruben?
I'm not that keen.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. If I'm totally honest, it's a Is that? Are you able to? I realise I'm putting you on the spot.
I'm endeavouring to
put up an image of that so people can see it, because we don't have the physical. Coin yet, do we?
This one's an exclusive. We will not be getting this one.
Oh, that's well. It is what it is. I'd prefer a kangaroo anyway.
But yeah, it's one of those ones that has divided a few people, and it kind of came out the same time as the quokka, and I think a few people were going, "Oh, come on, Perth."
That is a problem though. As a designer, when you do your job well, people you don't really get any response. if you fall short on a particular design, people don't hesitate in giving you very, very animated feedback.
I think if it's, I would agree if it's just an average design, but there is absolutely some designs that just are insane, and I think we will let people know, and other people will let people know as well.
Well, we actually do have an example of a design, as you have already suggested. Seeing the artist's impression of a particular coin gives you an idea as to how it will look, but when you see it in person, it can often be vastly different in your hand and the way certain areas catch the light and things like that. And we've got an example of that. Are we going to press on to the next
we can do
new
that.
release? Because I think I agreed with Michael at the outset when we first saw the illustrations of this particular design. It looked really busy and a little messy, if I'm completely honest. But seeing it in person, and I don't know if Michael's opinion has shifted on this, but I am completely on board with the new Super Pit design. I think it looks incredibly cool. And we've even got the 5 ounce here.
Yeah.
We'll show the 1 ounce first, but in 5 ounce actually you really get the full picture, as it were.
This is another one of those coins recently for me that just looking at the design, I'm like, nah, that's far too busy. It's not going to work. But actually,
Look
again,
at
seeing
that.
it in person, you actually almost get a bit of a high relief. Like looking at it on camera there, it feels like it's a pit.
Which is funny because I did say to Michael, and we may even be able to see it in the old stream, I said it would be great to have a high relief style on something like this to really give it that depth, but they've managed to achieve that
with just the bullion, version.
So that is the 1 ounce gold, which is still available. My understanding is we've completely sold out of the silver. Is that
really?
correct? Well, that was the rumor. I get all sorts of, it's not hard for me to get my wires crossed, but my understanding was that we'd been completely wiped out. But we'll take a quick look now at this is the 5 ounce. So now we're really going up in size. Look at that.
The silvers are no longer on the website. That might be...
Can barely fit the whole coin in frame. Look at that.
Yeah.
And you can actually get a feel for all the pathways. I suppose that's what they are, right? That's where all the excavators and what have you would be driving around those pathways. And you get a really great sense of depth on the coin and catch it in the light. Look at that. Woo!
Yeah, no, big fan of that one. Again, more so in person than the actual design we just got shown originally. And it's kind of, Mike just said there, it's terrible, but what can you do with a big hole? It is absolutely one of those, you are a little bit limited by the subject matter of it being a hole in the ground. But that's it. There's been a few different takes, and that's it. I like one like that tries, a bit of a high relief almost design that isn't high relief.
And I totally agree with the Metal Inquisitor. I actually do think that this is my favourite Super Pit all of a sudden.
Okay.
I will be
All right.
so brave as to put that out there, that I think this is I think it was actually a really ambitious design, and I suspect that whoever the designer was of this particular coin, I'm not sure if their initials are on here or if we can work out who did it, but I wonder if they had an understanding or an awareness of how this would be how this would transfer onto the actual coin itself. So when they did the original, mock-up, which is quite flat and you don't have those extra elements, in their mind's eye, they may have been able to see what we couldn't. So hats off to whoever did that design. You did an incredible job.
The other design, this is switching into some more numismatic territory for a second. The other design that I've seen this week out of Perth that really blew me away, and I'm probably going to be chasing, I think is really cool, is this one.
Oh, yeah.
This is the Casino Royale numismatic coin. It's a coloured antiqued, and I think that's going to look great. Poker chip style there.
Yeah, that is such a great design. And they've actually made a really good use of the colour.
Yeah,
it's kind of...
it pops.
Yeah, they've done it in a way that's not excessive. They've just accentuated those design
SDI Customs
aspects.
not a fan. That is awful.
Well, could you imagine ever pleasing everyone, though?
I mean, there is that.
I don't think there's a single coin, numismatic or bullion coin, that everyone universally says, you know what, that's a great design. They've really done a good job.
Yeah.
Maybe the 30th anniversary of the Kookaburra, 2020.
Nah, hate
I've-
it. No, I'm just kidding.
I've never,
I
I've never
just want it
heard
to be
anyone
that
say,
guy.
"Oh, geez, that's terrible." You know, and with the reference to the original 1990 design, I hate it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's people out there that hate it. I just haven't met any yet.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's not always a hit out of the park when you do a little bit of a throwback like that. You know, that's it. We have seen that with that 1 ounce platinum koala lately, where they have referenced the earlier nostalgic designs, and people really haven't been a fan of it. So I think they're, you know, Perth are trying to recreate some of those. Hey, we've done this in the past and it's worked. You know, let's try this again. And I think they're missing the mark on some of them, but. That's just a speculation. Everyone can make their own conclusions on that.
All right, what's next? What else have we got happening, Rubes?
The other kind of big talk is effigies. That's been in the news lately. Laurie Williams has brought it up again there. And yeah, a few other people earlier in chat have brought it out as well. The Royal Australian Mint has come out and unveiled the new effigy that we'll be using on our $1 coins. Appearing before Christmas.
So this is massive. I don't think at the outset when I first saw this, I think because it's been such a long time coming, I didn't really react to it. But I think now, having had the day to think about it and sort of process it, it's pretty monumental that certainly in our lifetime, this is the first time we're ever seeing a change of the monarch on our circulating coins. And I'll admit, I actually quite like it. Similarly to the design we were just talking about, I'm sure there will be plenty of people that hate it and they're you know, upset about it. But honestly, I think it's a really nice design, and I actually quite like the absence of the crown. I thought that perhaps if you added the crown to that design, it would look a bit too busy or cluttered on the coin. And I'm a big fan. And I actually found out the designer, his name's Dan Thorne. He's my age.
There you go.
He's only 30. So man, fancy that. I think that you know, good on you, Dan. You know, only 30 years old, and you're doing designs that are going to be produced all over Australia, Solomon Islands, and one of the other Pacific Islands are using the same effigy as well. So I'm really impressed with it, and we will be seeing them in this year, 2023. So later on in the year, at the very tail end of the year, it'll be just the dollar coin, is my understanding. So
SDI Custom saying the Cook Islands as well. They're going to be.
There you go. So Cook Islands as well, but I actually think it's really good, and I've heard a number of comparisons between the Australian design and the Martin Jennings portrait, which is what I was anticipating we would see, which is what we've already seen on some of the Bullion designs. Yep. And they look very similar. When people get very passionate and saying one's better than the other, they're pretty similar. Like I don't know if we have a side by side.
We do. Someone actually sent it through to us right before stream.
Perfect.
So
how organised are we?
Thank you very much to that viewer. But yeah, so here we've got the one with the £100 face value there. So a 1 ounce gold Britannia, and also the design that's been released for the $1 Australian coin. So I'm going to compare them and say that one's a $3,000 product and the other one's $1.
$1, yes.
Or sub $1. So you got to keep that in mind. But yeah, it's very interesting. I love seeing. I said this with the Pride of Australia nugget that came out recently, where you've got something that is the exact same subject matter, just designed in completely different ways and looks entirely different with the exact same essentially thing to work off.
Yeah, that's if you couldn't identify both of those as King Charles, I don't know, maybe coin collecting's not for you. I don't know. But I think it looks quite good. I like the slight change that he's gone for. And well done. Good on you, Dan. Yeah, put up a poll, Ruben. It's been a long time since we've had a poll.
Let's go for a bit of a English versus Australian.
Australian, yeah, we go. So the English is on the left, and the Australian effigy is being used on the right.
Got to throw that option in there as well, because I'm sure there'll be plenty of people that are not a fan of the fact that this change is going ahead, but it's kind of an inevitable one, and one that is going
Steve
to
Irwin has been on a $1 coin. There was
Yeah.
a $1 coin produced, it was sometime in the mid-2000s for Steve Irwin.
There you go. And sorry, I'll throw that back up so that people can...
2009, Inspirational Australians, Steve Irwin $1 coin. There you go.
Yeah, but that was as, that wasn't as the effigy.
That was a
though.
commemorative, yeah, that's right. That was a great coin, though.
All right, how are we looking on that? Oh, we're not winning. We're not winning.
Jeez. Well, everyone's entitled to their opinions. But this is this is red hot current news, coming out of the Royal Australian Mint. It's been a long time coming. We've been sitting on the memorial obverse of Queen Elizabeth pretty much the entire year. We've been using this obverse, which I thought would be, 1 or 2 releases. And I remember thinking, wow, this is going to be, if you've got a coin with the memorial obverse, this will be incredibly rare because this is an interim solution whilst they quickly get the approvals to make the transition to the Charles portrait. But it's pretty much been, it has been the entire year that we've seen the memorial obverse. But I'd be curious to see in, say, 10 plus years' time, if people do start to look at coins with the memorial obverse, the 1952 to 2022 date in the legend, if those coins will command any sort of premium for that reason. Because as far as I'm aware, there haven't been any other unique or distinctly unique obverse types on Australian bullion coins.
Yep.
So we'll wait and see. Watch this space. We'll check back in 10 years.
All right. Ending the poll there. So English are coming through
English
at
gets
41%, Australian 35, and neither 23.
Won't be currency in 10 years. But you know what there will be? Sierra Charlie, there will be bullion. Bullion will still exist, I assure you. I'm very confident.
This is potentially a bit of a stupid question because I'm not actually sure. This is a little bit more up your alley. I know that obviously the Royal Australian Mint has been doing that memorial obverse for their investment grade coins and things like that. Have they also done that just for the circulating currency as well?
They have.
Or,
they have indeed, yeah. So if you get change at the supermarket or wherever you happen to be, if you get a 2023 dated coin, you will see the memorial obverse on those as well. So yeah, it's across the board.
The other thing I kind of wanted to draw people's attention to with that from the article that I saw, and it's a very stupid comment in a way, but it's a very logical comment, but it also just cracked me up a little bit as well. I've put it under the actual effigy itself there. It says, the best way for you to get access to one of those coins is to use cash. If you use cash and you get change, you increase your chance of getting a coin. It's like, well, yes.
Funny that is astounding. That's a red hot. That's the inside track right there, Ruben.
Yeah.
Should have kept that to ourselves. We could have hoarded them all up.
That from the Royal Australian Mint chief executive. If you want your chance, if you want better chances of getting a hold of a coin, use more coins.
And Queen Elizabeth II coins are expected to remain in circulation for decades.
Yeah.
Well, given that we still get brand new 1984 dollar coins through the till, I would suggest that's a pretty safe assumption. So I think we'll be seeing plenty of them for. Considering there are literally billions of them in circulation, I think we'll see them for a while to come.
I think so. I think this is absolutely one of those things that there's a lot of questions about it, and they're really trying to get them all out there, answer everyone's oh, but am I going to have to throw away all my old currency now?
Yeah, you're going to have to go in and switch it all over at the bank. Although, geez, could you imagine? It's going to. I foresee a catastrophic. Couple of weeks for banks when they do roll out this dollar coin, because all this time in the lead up to this transition of effigies, the banks have been pushing so hard for a significant reduction in circulating cash and things like that. So they're going to go from that and reducing the amount of cash that you can withdraw at the bank to having queues out the door and around the block of every collector and their dog saying, I need bank bags of all the new Charles dollar coins because this is, whether you're into coin collecting or not, it's a massively historic occasion for Australian coin collectors because, it's the first time since 1953 that we've seen a change of effigy. something that I've never seen.
Well, that's it. But I mean, this is one of those things where it's not even just like, oh, it's just us because we're a bit younger and, you know, haven't experienced this. There is plenty of Australians and, you know, plenty of people around the world that won't have experienced this thing. You know, it's a fairly big change for a lot of people. There's a bit of a handball to a separate discussion that I actually wasn't planning on talking about, but, you know, talking about, oh, you know, of course it's still going to be hanging around, things like that. We've only recently just passed the date that India has to essentially hand back in their highest denomination note.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that was the 2,000 rupee note introduced into circulation in 2016. It will remain legal tender, but citizens have been asked to deposit or exchange these notes by September 30th, 2023.
Wow.
Which we are now past.
So based on current conversion, it's about a bit under a 40 Australian dollar banknote.
Yeah, which is interesting then that's their highest and that's the one that they're phasing out. So it's very much
Well, it's the same logic as bikies buying bullion, right? If you've got high denominations, it's got to be crime. There's definitely going to be something untoward going on there. Why else would you have large sums of cash?
Yeah, of course. I'm not going to dignify that.
Yeah, probably don't. We'll be here all day.
Yeah. But yeah, so there is actually a bit of a, I'll say, you know, precedence for concern, but they're absolutely, you know, people can see that in headlines and go, well, okay, you know, I'm hearing about this new effigy. What does that mean for my old ones? So,
yeah, absolutely. Well, at this stage, my understanding is that will not impact banknotes in any capacity, and you know, coins will continue to circulate.
That was the other thing I saw speculated about it, was if it was going to be the chance to remove the 5-cent piece, and they confirmed that, hey, we're still going to be making those, and they are going to have the new effigy as well. So
they will, and I think it's something that I don't think people. Well, hopefully, people now start to appreciate a little more how slowly things happen at that level. When you're talking about, you know, the transition
at a government level being slow. What are you talking about?
Particularly when you talk about the transition of effigies, when they say, oh, you know, there's so much involved and this and that, you look to the Royal Mint and how quickly they were able to make the change in their effigy. It took Australia so much longer, like half a year longer to make the transition. So the idea of phasing out the 5-cent coin, I don't think it'll happen anytime soon, because there's probably the sheer volume of paperwork required to do something like that would just be huge. So yeah, I can't see it happening anytime soon, but it's logical that it would be the first to go, much like the 1 and 2 cent coins.
Well,
phased out.
I was going to say that was 1992. I'd be interested to know from people what that experience was like. You know, if it was just a massive hoarding of them, you know, right before they went out. Was it, you know, people desperately trying to get rid of them? Did it take ages and ages for businesses? You know, you go, come on, mate, just take it. Come on,
you got to phase them out of your tills and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I would actually be interested to know, because that's it. I wasn't around for that.
Well, I suppose it's probably a fairly gentle process in the sense of they don't need to make it an abrasive transition, because the reason that transition's happening, because it's organically happening out there in the wild anyway. Like, how often do you get 5 cents in your change and think, wow, I'll put that straight in the piggy bank and watch it grow?
Yeah, well, particularly as things go up and up.
It is what it is. Yeah, 5 cents. You're not really getting... I can't think off the top of my head of a single thing you can purchase with a 5-cent coin nowadays anyway. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too worried.
The answer always used to be Chupa Chups, but...
Jeez, when was that? Yeah, you're going back a while.
Yeah, I am a bit. We've got some email questions.
All right, let's hit it.
To quickly go through. We've got one from the Metal Inquisitor. Says, hope you're well. Looking forward to today's live. Suffering from withdrawal because we skipped a week. Yep, us too. It did feel a little bit weird.
Skipped a week and then Michael wasn't here. What a lucky duck. He gets a whole fortnight's break just to suntan in the UK.
Yeah. He says, Metro Bank in the UK might collapse. My question is, when a bank collapses, what happens to the contents of the safety deposit boxes held by the collapsed bank? Hope you guys can shed some light on this matter. So that's it. Metro Bank in the UK have gotten themselves into some grief lately. They've had their stocks tumble by 30%. I think it's basically been a case of they've just turned around and asked their customers, their investors for some more cash, and obviously that starts to prompt concerns that, hey, you're supposed to have all the cash, why are you asking us for some? And so obviously their PR's in full swing of, no, it's fine, no immediate implication for customers, it's fine, don't stress. But it does start to raise the question, and people are wondering if we're going to see the continuation of the same sort of thing that we saw in the US at the start of this year. And then that's it. The follow-on to that question is asking about safety deposit boxes. And yeah, if a bank like that goes under, what happens to people storing, items in safety deposit boxes within that bank?
That's a good question, and I would be purely speculating with my own opinions on it and just theorizing, because I haven't been in a position where I've been involved in something to that scale, nor do I have any experience with the logistics of that, even just having researched it or anything like that. But I think Mr. Variable is possibly on the right track with, wouldn't a larger bank just buy them out and all accounts transferred across?
Absolutely.
Something like that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Similarly, I imagine much in the same sense of, if there were a private company, like a storage facility holding things like that, if they were to go into liquidation, you would then have the liquidators or the administrators who then come in and take over and have to begin the long and arduous process of going through all of the records and contacting everyone and working their way through all of the safety deposit boxes. I imagine it would be a nightmare, and this is just, again, this isn't from experience or anything like that, but I imagine it would be a very lengthy process to then extract your goods from your deposit box, whilst every single thing needs to be accounted for.
Why would they be in a hurry for it? is going to be,
yeah.
Obviously you're going to be sitting there like, hello, I'd like my things back, thanks, but whilst they've got a lot of other things to sort out. And they're saying,
well, we've got 15,000 accounts to work our way through, and we need to cross every T and try and dot every I. And
absolutely.
Yeah, geez, it's not a position I'd like to have any exposure to or be involved in whatsoever. That'd be very stressful for all parties involved, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. In saying that, I did see something, obviously this is going to vary country by country. I did see something in the US, and feel free to correct me, there was something through the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. I saw something on there that basically said, if we can't get on to you after X amount of time, it's ours.
That's brutal. So it's like a variation of Storage Wars.
Bit of finders keepers, yeah. We'll auction it off, but it's just to ourselves. So I don't think they were too specific about how long or anything like that, and I'm not saying that every instance that would be the case, but no, it very much does lend itself to that, if you don't hold it, you don't own it, that a few people are saying in chat, and it's 100% right. The advantage, there are advantages to storing in a safety deposit box. Obviously, you do get that bank level of security and things like that. But the disadvantage is if it's outside of hours or the bank shuts down, or there's problems there, and that is true when you are storing anywhere. There's downsides. Hopefully Michael doesn't play just this part back. There are downsides to storing at Bullion Now. One of them being outside of hours, you don't have access to it. If it's in a hole in your backyard, you can go out there anytime and do it. I think our storage program is fantastic. You do get that security, that insurance, things like that. But yeah, the downside is that you can't duck out in the middle of the night, pick it up and travel across the country with it.
This is true. But fortunately, now being open on Saturdays, you've got a whole nother day that you can conceivably come in and access your items.
There is that. Obviously, we want to make the process as simple as possible, but it's something to consider when you're considering any storage solution. We saw this over COVID, even with some of the dedicated storage places and things like that that have been absolutely fantastic. Obviously, one of their downsides is you've got to pay a significant amount for it. But the other downside that we saw come up is a lot of them were forced to close and things like that. So whenever you're considering storage options through us, through a dedicated vaulting service, through a safety deposit box, through burying it in your backyard, there will be advantages and disadvantages to all of those. I don't know if it was one that was sent through to the live email or if it was just the sales email and I caught it. And so apologies to the person that sent it, but someone was talking about how basically they'd stored a lot of their stuff in a safe, airtight, like locked it away kind of thing. And some mold had gotten in and destroyed a lot of the more numismatic items and things like that.
That's so brutal. That's the worst.
Yeah. And so, this thing that they've set it aside to keep it safe, to keep it protected, is also the thing that ended up then damaging it because, So there are advantages and disadvantages to all the storage methods. And so I really, lend to the, there's put some in here, put some in there, split up your risk a little bit.
And think through the entire life cycle of it. And that's something that we generally try and encourage as well. And I had this conversation with a customer earlier today. In fact, they were coming in wanting to buy particular coins, and I had a conversation with them, and they had informed me that their objective was just to have exposure to some silver in 1 ounce form. And long story short, we ended up landing on buybacks being the most suitable option, because they would at the moment we did actually have a few in stock in the store, but that ended up working out to being the best value for money way to get the silver, because for them it wasn't they weren't interested in the designs or the collectability component or anything like that. They purely just wanted some 1 ounce silver to add to their stack and wanted to do that in the most effective way. But it wasn't until we'd had that conversation and I'd sort of played through the entirety of the scenario and said, what is your end goal here? What do you plan on doing with this? Is it something that you're looking at building up a collection for, or are you going to be, giving it out, or how are you going to use it? And they just said, well, I have no interest in collecting or anything like that. I just want the silver to ultimately then sell, and I said, if you're selling to us, we'll be paying you the spot price, regardless of whether or not it's a beautiful super pit design or if it's a quokka or an old kangaroo. If you're selling back to Bullion Now, you'll be getting the spot price. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that was a very fruitful conversation, and I'm always happy to have those kind of conversations without giving any financial advice. Always happy to just share my opinions and my views on these things, as are all of the good folk that work here.
There's a question there from Lee A. It says, speaking of storage, how do we use unallocated to buy items online whilst the stock is available?
That is a very good question, and I wanted to highlight that. I immediately forgot, so I'm glad you've plucked that one out. So the way you would go about doing that is, if you see an item on our website that you would like to order, you can either do it directly on the website, or you can also phone up and explain to the kind folk on the phone that you would like to order something and utilize your unallocated balance to offset the cost of it. Similarly, you can place that order online, and there is a section where you can put notes in your order. So in the notes section, you can explain how much of your unallocated balance you would like to apply to that order, and then we'll then do that behind the scenes for you and reissue your invoice with whatever outstanding balance, i.e. the premium. Premium being the amount, I'll assume that I'll just explain that as well. So the premium is the amount above and beyond the spot price, which is what your unallocated balance is tethered to. Yep. So I hope that makes sense. If not, feel free to send us an email to sales@bullionnow.com.au, and Andrew or Con will do a much better job explaining that. But I've done my best.
Oh dear. I'm just chasing something in the back end here to see if we can talk about it or not. I'm just trying to get some confirmation.
While you do that, someone asked about whether or not the Perth Mint will use a different effigy on their designs, on their coins. I don't think so. My understanding is that Perth similarly have been waiting for the appropriate approvals from Treasury and all that sort of jazz to go through the Royal Australian Mint, and they will generally then use the same portrait. So whereas we had the Jodie Clark portrait, we will now have the Dan Thorne portrait of Charles. So I suspect I would be very surprised if Perth went and decided to use their own portrait. Ooh, because I imagine
that'd be an interesting little split between the two then.
They would need to then get a whole nother set of approvals. And if it's taken the Royal Australian Mint a year to get to this point, if they then produce their own, although interestingly, now since we're down the rabbit hole and Michael's not going to stop me, my understanding is Canada are going to use their own design, which they have done historically.
Yeah.
They just... I'd like to learn a little more about that, and if we have any Canadian Mint employees or coin designers in the chat, please let me know what the setup is there. It must be by agreement with the Royal Mint that they'll produce their own designs for approval, and then off they go. Whereas we've utilised Dan Thorne from the Royal Mint over in the UK.
Yep.
So, yeah, the more you know.
I think the Canadian effigy was one that kind of split a lot of people for Her Majesty, because it was one where she didn't have her crown on, and she was, quite a bit significantly younger as well. And I actually, we had someone ask on the phone, I think, or maybe emails, but it's something we get asked quite regularly as to, why didn't she feature that? Was it a comment on something or, something like that? I actually found a quote from the designer, and she was asked that in an interview, and her answer was basically just, one, the reference photo she was using, she didn't have it on. And two, she felt like she was more graceful, more, royal without it, and so just decided to do it. So her answer was very much just I designed it that way just cause. But I think it will be interesting to see if Canada continues that, for any effigy they use moving forward.
Yeah, well, it'd be interesting to see, and that is, I like that answer. The reference image I was using, she didn't have a crown on, so I wasn't going to just add one.
Yeah, and just that's it.
Good on her.
I liked the regal look without it. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And, variety is the spice of life. So, plenty of people won't like it, but, for everyone that doesn't like it, I'm sure there's a few that enjoy it and think it's wonderful. So,
well, that's it. And, obviously we're a little bit attached to it being Australian and having that link into the to the monarchy. But, there's still coins out there, like, I'm thinking of coins like the Philharmonic or the Krugerrand. There's coins like that out there, the Libertad, that are separated out.
US Eagle
that are separated out from that, or even just plain rounds.
Noah's Ark.
Like
Well, there's heaps.
There's heaps. So if you are going, hey, absolutely do not want King Charles on on my coins or my
you don't
precious
have to.
metals moving forward, it is absolutely still something you can avoid.
There's also another very accessible, interesting, and aesthetically pleasing way that you can accumulate precious metals without having to deal with any effigies whatsoever. And that happens to be a locally produced range, of which we have some examples of now. Is this a world first, Ruben? Am I breaking the internet here?
I
with this
actually haven't had it
unveiling?
confirmed that we're able to show it yet. I think we're
Should
fine
I do it
to-
anyway? I've already said it. The
Yeah,
chat's going to eat me alive,
All
Ruben.
right.
I can't say what I've just said and then not do
All
anything.
right. Sorry in advance to those watching that would get me in trouble if we're not allowed to show it. But yeah, let's show it.
Michael's 600,000 feet
All right,
in
let's
the
go.
air
Let's go.
6,478 plane. So I'm just gonna gonna show him. All right. Sorry in advance if you're upset, Michael, but you left us to our own devices. All right. So hang on. I'll do it in sections.
Yeah, let's do it in sections. All right, I'm going to cut to that shot now, so careful what you got.
All right. So you may remember. Whoa. Sorry.
There we go.
I need to slow it down. I'm too excited. So I think it was a couple of weeks ago that we highlighted the minted half-ounce silver XAGs. This is obviously, you're looking at 2 here, so they fit nicely 2 to a capsule. So that's an example of the ever-popular silver minted XAG range.
Yep.
And I don't know, have we highlighted this?
We have.
We now have the platinum, which I think wasn't that Sydney? Was that on the Sydney tour that we
gave people in Sydney a bit of a sneak peek at that one?
So that is the XPT, which is the platinum option. Now, I don't know if anyone is going to be able to guess what I am about to slide onto screen.
Given our history of medals, huzzah!
We now have minted XAU. When I say we now have, physically we have them. I'm not sure what the arrangements are in terms of if the pricing's been set up in the system or when the official release will be.
This is one of the ones I'm hoping to have Michael have a look at next week when he's back. So hopefully we'll do an unboxing and a breakdown of them.
That's not in a capsule. This is in.
I think they were
presented
asking
in sheets.
I think they were originally asking about the half-ounce silvers that you had.
Oh, sorry. I don't actually know. I don't think it's...
I think that was one of the just generic rectangular capsules
I think it's just
we had.
a generic one. It's nothing... It's not like a lighthouse type super duper whiz bang. But there is the...
Move it a little bit closer to the center. I think I've got I've got the focus set up.
Oh, look at that! This camera is unreal. That is your XAU 1 ounce gold minted, locally produced gold.
So
that cool as it gets.
The idea is to have these fit below the premiums on the Perth Mint ones. Haven't yet had confirmed if
look at that.
More than the cast bars or not. I would be hoping for about the same. But yeah, it's very good to have that kind of that range expanding. That's it. We've got now silver, fractional silver, platinum, and both cast and minted gold as well.
Comes in 1/10. Imagine that. No, they don't at this stage, but that's a great idea.
Well, I mean, as they're expanding,
little 1/10 cast bars. These look great.
Yeah,
I'm very impressed. I'm impressed with his camera as well. And there's the whole family again. I don't think I can fit them all in.
Yeah, no, you'll probably struggle. But
there you go.
So very very cool to have those coming through. So stand by for an unboxing of those, and yeah, some more highlights.
Yeah, that was exciting. I don't know if I was supposed to do that, but I guess that's the nature of live television. We like to highlight things and give you guys the inside look at things that are up and coming, and it's good fun.
Absolutely. There's still one I'm waiting for clearance to show as well. It's killing me that I haven't got it.
Have I got it handy? Am I aware of it?
No, you don't. Well, you might be aware of it, but it's not one that we have ready to go. I do, however, have another email question we can go through.
All right, hit it.
It is this one here. It says, "Hi BN, appreciate if you could touch on this on Friday live stream. Why is the 2022 Libertad 5 ounce silver so much more expensive per ounce at $93 than a 2022 Libertad 1 ounce silver at $63 per ounce? Always thought that larger coins would be cheaper on a per ounce basis." And they've highlighted there from our website the 5 ounce being $465 versus the 1 ounce being $63.54, and that's it. If you'd calculate that out, it is significantly more expensive to be buying the 5 ounce versus 5 1 ounces. So I don't know if you want to tackle that first, or if I can delve into some of the maths I've done and calculations I've done.
Yeah, I'll give you the general. You can get into the nuts and bolts of it, Rubes, but I think it's one of those things that is absolutely a case-by-case basis. It's a general rule, and with rules there are always exceptions, and in this industry there's no shortage of exceptions. And to take it to an extreme, it's totally... as I'm drawing this comparison, I realize how unrealistic it is, but if you look at something like the 2 kilo coins that we get from the Perth Mint, what's the latest one that we have at the moment? It's not the Great Barrier Reef. It's
the koi.
The koi, yeah, the koi fish coin. You look at that and you think, wow, it's 2 kilos of silver, but it's $4,700 or thereabouts. That's a terrible example because I'm looking into numismatics there. But arguably, you're getting into a semi-numismatic category with something like a 5 ounce Libertad, based largely on the mintage, and the worldwide demand for them far outweighs the available supply. So that's the headline that I'll start with, and then if you want to go through the numbers you've crunched there, Ruben, we'll get a little more insight.
The first thing I'd always compare it to is the bars or the generic versions in that same weight. So in the bottom left there, I've got the XAG 5 ounce. So you could get 5 ounces of silver for 100. This is when I ran the numbers earlier today. You could get 5 ounces of silver for $195. In comparison to that 465, there's a pretty significant difference there. So that's obviously port of call number one is, look at just the generic stuff as an option if you're just wanting bang for your buck. But no, 100% right, as you've said in that email. Always thought the larger coins would be cheaper. If you are comparing the bars, it works out significantly cheaper to be getting one of those 5 ounce bars than it does 5 individual 1 ounce XAG bars. So, absolutely that tracks there. You're saving yourself that, $20, difference between the two. The other example, kind of as you were going down the line with the 2 kilo koi there that I've got, is the kilo rabbit coins. If you were to get 10 of those kilos, you'd be looking at just shy of $12,000 versus getting one of the 10 kilos, you'd be looking at over $16,000. And obviously that's a bit of an extreme example as well because they only produce 100 of them. But yeah, if you look at the mintage numbers on the Libertads, you're talking 550,000 of the 1 ounce versus only 7,000. This is in 2022 of the 5 ounce there. So it's very much a different ball game. And I tend to think that there's also a little bit of a case of, the Mexican Mint are aware that there's that desire for them that, I don't want to say collectability because it is just a bullion product, but there's that people are chasing them more so, and so I'm sure there's a little bit of we'll charge a little bit more for them as well.
Well, exactly, and I don't think that's unreasonable because similarly, it's a product that's produced and generally coins like that are in high demand. So they, as a mint, they're operating a commercial business. They need to look to the market and work out what is viable for them in terms of production and whether or not it's worth taking the time to tool up the dyes and produce coins of a certain size. And I actually think that's a great example that you've used with the rabbit, the 1 kilos versus the 10 kilo, because that is an extreme example, but it really does go a ways to highlight, you've got a limited mintage, far more labor intensive product to produce, and it's something that comes in a big timber box and they only do 100 of them. So and similarly, you're in a totally different arena. You're really entering the bullion/numismatic field in the sense that, like we say here at Bullion Now, you're not going to come in and get a significant premium for your 10 kilo coin. And Michael said it on a number of occasions, Bullion Now is probably not the best place to sell your 10 kilo coin, despite the fact that it may have been where you bought it from, because...
And we will think it's very cool. And
exactly, and we'll love it. And we'll do a video on it, and there'll be a lot of oohing and ahhing, but you won't always be able to extract the premium that you've paid for it in the first instance. So it goes back to what we were talking about earlier when I said it's all well and good to get excited about what you're buying. And personally, I always get excited about what I'm buying. It's do as I say, not as I do. In this example, I often buy now, ask questions later, but I often encourage people when we're having these conversations is to think about the life cycle. Think about the point in time if and when you do want to sell this item that you're purchasing. How easy is that going to be? How much friction will be involved in liquidating it and converting it into some form of currency? So perhaps something more generic is the way to go. Having said that, and again, Michael says this as well, you've got to have a bit of fun as well. Like sometimes it can get a little dull if you're just buying generic kangaroos or just 1 kilo cast bars. Sometimes it's nice to have something that you can look at and enjoy and appreciate. So there's nothing wrong with that either. But just bear in mind that there may come a time when you're wanting to offload it or convert it into something else, and just be mindful of how you're going to go about that, because there's nothing worse than having to sell something in a rush and feeling as though you've got a raw deal out the end of it. That's a terrible feeling. So I'd hate for any of our viewers to feel that way.
Yep.
There you go.
I was also pleasantly surprised, and this isn't like a shout out or anything, but I was also pleasantly surprised just to find out how easy to access all the Libertad mintage numbers were on Wikipedia. You just Google the Libertad and it had all the years, all the different variations of metal, and exactly how many were made. I'm like, this is fantastic.
Yeah, that's what you want, just in a nice, easy to read chart. I don't want to have to download a huge PDF from... Yeah, I'm not going to put Perth Mint under the bus, but that's what came to mind. Yeah, you download their big PDF and you have to scroll through it.
Although I did note, because I then went, I wonder if Perths are up here. There was actually some similar kind of setup. So I would have been heading direct to the Mint or whatever for all those kind of mintage numbers. And I know obviously Wikipedia has the reputation it does of being edited or there's that danger. But no, it was a very quick and easy way to check. So if you're ever hunting, try that as a source.
Yeah,
but also even just looking at the Mexican Mint and things like that. Even it started in 1535.
Sorry, I was reading the comments. What did you just say?
The Mexican mint first started in
Really?
1535. It is the oldest mint in the Americas.
Wow, that's unreal. I had no idea. Here's us, sitting around thinking Perth Mint 1899. Jeez, they're
Yeah,
ancient.
that's
Wow. Oh, that's very cool. That's a fun fact for the day.
Yeah. And there's all sorts of stories about that. There's a really, really interesting one, and I will do a separate video on this because I find it some very fascinating history. But there's some really interesting stories around the start of the Austrian mint.
Yeah.
I love that story. It was created off the back of a king's ransom. So they, a country, England paid. A large amount to have their king returned back to them, and they went, great, let's start turning this into coins, and let's go from there. And the same mint still stands today.
You missed such an opportunity being over there, Ruben. You could have gone to the mint and done a whole bit.
Didn't go to Austria.
Were you in Austria?
No, I went to Germany.
You should have scooted over to Austria. Yeah, you could have gone over. You were halfway there.
Yeah. But no.
Oh, geez. Next time we'll book it in when we do another one of our. Where did we go? Not the State Bank, State Library. Another one of those type of little expeditions.
Just scoot over to Austria.
Yeah, we'll go to Austria one morning before the live stream. Have a weekend release.
But no, there's definitely some excellent history to some of these mints around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And so cool that you can still purchase coins from these mints that are still producing coins today. So that's something interesting to think about, and problematic for people if you're anything like myself, where the more you learn, the more interest you develop, the more value you attribute to these things. You need to be mindful of that, because there are many rabbit holes in this industry that you can find yourself going down. Absolutely. One of which is the Lunar series.
I was going to say, I think we need to hit some of the questions in chat. And there was
hit some. Yeah.
Well, no, but there was people asking about the Lunar Dragon. What was it? eMate E5. It says, "Hey guys, when is the Perth Mint Lunar Dragon coming out? Pre-orders going up soon?" ?
That is such a good question. Have we heard anything? Well, I don't know.
Not since Michael did his video saying November. That was the latest we've heard.
Okay.
As far as I know, we haven't been able to lock aside the numbers, our allocation yet, which is kind of the thing we wait for before we're able to do pre-orders or anything like that. So it's a no for pre-orders at this stage until that happens, because we don't want to start taking pre-orders. We'll say, yeah, sure, let's take the big one that obviously a lot of people are chasing is the 1 ounce platinum. That's one that always gets snapped up, and so we can't say, hey, yeah, we'll take pre-orders on those, and then Perth turn around and say, well, actually, you're getting 2 of them this year, because then we're in a bit of strife. So until we get our numbers confirmed, we won't be doing pre-orders. So stand by. If we do end up doing pre-orders, which as history has proven we will probably end up doing. But yeah, that will only be after we have that kind of locked aside, just because, it's a bit risky otherwise.
And surely this is going to have the Charles portrait. Is this a special delivery?
I was asking if we could have one. No. Oh, what have you done? I don't need this.
What's happened with this? This is the ultimate live television. So for those that can't see, because the camera's focused squarely on me, some massive boxes have just been dropped in the studio. Is this a surprise you were talking about, Ruben?
This was one that I was just going to show the design of and see.
Go on. We just had some massive boxes turn up.
All right.
Is this going to be a live? This will be the first ever live unboxing.
We've done one before. But
First one with just Matt and Ruben.
The problem with these, though, and the reason I was hoping not to do it this way, is that I don't think we have the listing whatever sort of yet. So if people are like massively...
All right, well, let's do a poll then. Do you want to see something that you can't buy? Or do you want us to just not worry about it?
All right, let me
poll incoming. Also, sorry to disappoint. I do not believe there will be a special this week, because I don't know how to do it or what to do. And our pilot is currently 600,000 feet in the air. So I don't think we'll see a special. But we might see a special unboxing.
It said my answer was too long. Hang on.
Yeah, just...
All right, let's see what people think.
All right, the poll is live. So
I get the feeling we're gonna get a big time. Just do it, but we'll see how we go. I better actually get one of these semi-ready
Michael,
for you.
maybe Michael has got access to the chat. A few people are saying, "Wait."
No, what do you mean? 92% saying
All
just
right.
launch. 90% saying just launch in. It is the kind of thing that we are hoping to do a full unboxing of next week. Like I said, I'm hoping to pack next week out with lots of videos. So stay tuned. A little bit of anger towards the people saying no. Who's saying no? I want to see it. All right, I think that's 90% is definitely more
91%.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right, let me. You're gonna have to hold the fort a sec. Let me disappear.
All right, and I will only unbox it when we see 100 likes.
Oh.
I'm buying you some time, Ruben. What are you doing? Are you getting a blade? Oh, I'm getting a whole selection. All right. So, think I might move my laptop out of the way. This really is live television, isn't it? All right. All right. Welcome. This is almost this could be, you don't even need to film a separate unboxing. Just do an intro now. Hey everyone, welcome to Bullion Now. This is Matt and Ruben coming to you live with an unboxing, a mystery unboxing in fact. I have no idea what's in here. So I'm just going to lean over here, get a trusty box opener. I can't even cut in a straight line. Let's have a look. It looks like there's some sort of customs thing on this, so I'm going to suspect this is an international. Oh, don't film this. I don't know what this is. Get that out of here. What's this? Oh, we got a delivery of house bricks in here. Is it all the same? Can I get rid of the huge box? Oh, I'm knackered. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be cool. I did look at the sticker. I'm covering the sticker, so I know what it is. This is. So they are from AppMex, and this is dun, 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 the 50th anniversary of Kiss. 50th? Is that what it says? I didn't actually read it. Wow.
Played at the grand final recently.
So, and it's part of the last tour ever, End of the Road. Although I'm sure for the right price, Gene Simmons will fire the band up at any notice. But I didn't know that. So Kiss, here's a fun fact, Kiss and AC/DC both formed in 1973. The more you know. Jeez. Oh, and you've got a little artistic representation of each of the members. So you've got. Can
we go under the microscope?
Oh yeah, let's do that. That's a great idea. Alrighty, let's have a quick look on the. Can I take one out of the? Yeah, I'll pop one out of the top here. Oh, this is cool. This has been a good call to break out a surprise unboxing. This is nice.
All right, I'm back behind the mic now. There we go.
What's the best Kiss song, Ruben?
Oh, put me. I'm very basic with my. I'm not gonna. I can't name like a super obscure one. I'm gonna say Rock and Roll All Night.
Oh yeah, that is a banger. Nah, it's got to be Love Gun. That is a ripper. All right, there we go. That's actually really cool. I like how they've done a reference. So just above the band logo there, you'll see it's almost like a privy mark for each band member. That's very cool. And then on the obverse, we have
Oh, the record, the
Yeah,
vinyl. Oh,
that's cool.
That's a cool little nod.
That's
there.
a good idea.
I actually hadn't seen that side of it of the coin, so no, that is very cool.
Oh, Detroit Rock City, yeah, not bad, not bad. There's a few cool suggestions for Kiss MVP track in the chat, but there you go. Let's pop it down there.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, there we go.
That was a slam dunk. That was an unexpected treat. I feel privileged to have been a part of that. These are really cool. And so we don't know in terms of when they'll go up and all that sort of jazz.
Like I said, broadly next week we're aiming to get some of these out. We may even have to do maybe multiple in a day, or if we can get the go ahead, maybe we do just cut that little bit from the stream, put that up as a video, and
Sure. Okay, and so here's another fun fact. When asked which, obviously in a 50-year career, Kiss have performed with a number of most bands of significance in the genre they've performed with at some point. But can you answer me this, Ruben?
Probably not. Probably not is going to be the answer.
I think you will, because I've already answered. I already alluded to it.
All
When Paul Stanley was asked, who is the best band that has opened for you guys, in your opinion, who do you think he said?
I mean, I'm going to say AC/DC.
You are absolutely correct.
Thank goodness for your context clues, because I would have been scrambling.
So, another one that was referenced was Rush. If we have any Canadian rock enthusiasts in the audience.
Yes.
Massive power trio from Canada. Rush were also up there, but AC/DC was Paul Stanley's favourite band that opened for them back in the day. So, yeah, this is a super cool coin. This is...
We've done a good job getting you behind. I mean, obviously Michael's got his, he remembers some bands and things like that as well. But it's good we've got you for the rock and roll coin. It's definitely far more up your alley than unveiling a new plane coin or something.
Well,
like that.
I would have been an absolute goose if it was some sort of a Cessna coin or something. But I would argue that Kiss, love them or hate them, they really did revolutionise the entertainment aspect of live music, making I'd probably put them in the same category as an Alice Cooper type of band, where it's far more of a production than just going and seeing a band perform their music. It's a real theatrical experience, and I would argue that you could take someone to a Kiss concert that has no interest in the music whatsoever, and they'll go away from it thinking, "Wow, yeah, that was really something." So yeah. Well done, Kiss. 50 years.
Well, that's it. They recently. I'm not sure if I wasn't on mic before when I said it, but that's it. Recently played at the grand final. Yeah. For the show there, and that's it. I think
and it was very well received. It seemed to be fairly universal that people were very pleased with it, and I think again for that reason it was quite a spectacle to see It was the pre-show entertainment. They had all the pyrotechnics and all that sort of jazz. It was really cool. I had a few friends that were at the grand final that were absolutely stoked with it. So, yeah, impressive to see that, some of those guys, I think Gene and Paul are probably in their 70s now, in their early 70s, and they're still getting up and getting into it. So, good on them. I think it's great.
Yep. Diane asking there, how many do we get in? I'm actually not totally sure. We've got 2 boxes. Well, like you saw those, like the larger outer box there. We've got 2 of those here, but there could be more. I'm not 100% sure, but hopefully enough to fulfill demand. We will see.
These are super cool. This is I'm very impressed with this. The last tour ever. Yeah, we'll wait and see. That could make it a rarity in and of itself. The last ever tour coin. Before the actual last ever tour happened.
Yeah, we'll see how long that hangs around. One more thing, there's still a couple, but another thing I wanted to go through this week was last night. Perth Mint put out a new video that's essentially a come work for us video.
Oh,
it's an employment video. And I thought that was interesting. They've gone very corporate with it. I think
so you mean it's a little more formal than me
going
fighting back tears in the chair in the room saying, "Michael, I'm drowning.
Yeah.
I need help, please."
A little bit of a different take. I'll quickly play it now. I have trimmed it down a little bit to be only about a minute long, so it's got some parts cut out. But yeah, I thought it was interesting to quickly take a look at that and see what Perth Mint are up to lately.
Since 1899, the Perth Mint has played a leading role in unlocking the possibilities hidden within the precious metals we refine.
Every day when I come to work, I pass through these old gates. I'm still a part of its ever-evolving history. It's just really special.
I love that they know the value of their employees and always find ways to invest in them. Like, for example, when I said I wanted to go back to uni, they said, "Great, let's get you set up with some paid study leave and some study assistance."
Mental wellness is important to us here at the Perth Mint. We have a lot of employee benefits to support our people. Now that's priceless.
This is an exciting time to be a part of the Perth Mint and what the future holds. I'm really happy because there's a lot of good stuff happening now and things to come. They really look after myself, my team, and the environment that we're working in.
There we go.
Every day a golden opportunity. Think about that. Think about that next time you turn up to work, Ruben.
Yeah, I did.
Bullion Now needs a catchphrase like that. Get everyone excited.
I did think now that's precious was a bit of a corny line.
Oh,
personally.
yeah, that's a good one.
Like, yeah, we might deal in gold, but
So if any of our viewers, any of the viewers of the Bullion Now channel or listeners on Spotify end up applying and successfully getting that job, let them know that it was courtesy of the Bullion Now live stream, and maybe they'll give us an ultra nice exclusive on something up and coming.
well, either way, yeah. Either if you mention it and don't get the job, you can know that maybe it was because they're not fans of us, or if you mention it and then you do get the job, then maybe you'll know. Yeah, they're big fans.
STI Custom. Can you imagine a Bullion Now recruitment video? I can. We filmed one.
We did one. It was quite a while ago now, but
Con brought that up. I think that was probably when we hired Con, and he mentioned to me how funny he thought that was, how I was carrying on in the video about how desperate I was for help.
We've actually done two.
And he said, "Yeah, I don't think you were putting it on." Now that he did come on and help me out with the phones and emails, and he said, "Yeah, I think your reaction, your performance was adequate to the." How much was happening, how many phone calls you get on a daily basis and how many emails come through.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go.
I'm just pulling it up now. I can actually refer everyone to one that we did. There we go.
Oh, really? Geez, that was quick.
I haven't watched that in a while, so we'll see. I don't know if it'll hold up. But yeah, no, I found it was interesting to see that happen, because I mean, obviously it means that they're chasing more people, and for the people making comments about don't call in because they clearly need more people on the phones. Hopefully that's the kind of thing that they're looking at solving and getting a few more people. But also in the description of that, it says that they've got 700 employees already.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It said something about joining here he goes, the potential locked inside our 700 strong team. So
jeez. Did we I wasn't, I'll be honest, I wasn't watching the video as we screened it just then. Did we see one of our good
absolutely
friends
did.
in
Lucas.
the mix there? Lucas, yeah, get amongst it. What a legend.
Can we say the best designer at the Perth Mint? I think we can.
Absolutely. MVP.
Love your work, Lucas.
He's the Dan Thorne of the Perth Mint design team. So yeah, good to see some friendly faces in that video as well.
Absolutely. But yeah, just thought it was interesting to see them doing that, and I've now made a habit of whenever I see a Perth Mint video that I want to show in live stream, I now download it immediately, just quickly, in case they pull it like they did that gilding video. So if worst comes to worst, I'll have exclusive Perth Mint footage, no longer available found footage.
Did they say what the position was?
No, in fact, there's not even like a direct link for a just apply here, do this and whatever. It's very much just, hey, come consider us.
Okay.
But I know that they do have a careers thing that you can go to on their page and things like that.
Right.
But yeah, no, it doesn't say specifically what they're looking for. But no, I thought that was interesting.
Oh, good on them. Good luck with it.
Whilst we're talking about other businesses and things like that, the other one that's made some headlines recently and someone sent through to us to discuss is Costco. And I've even had this one pop up on my phone as a, hey, you might be interested in this. And it's the fact that they are selling gold bars. They have been for a while, but I think it might have been a new thing in the US or something like that, because a lot of it's come out recently. And yeah, people are they're buying them up very, very quickly after they open, and they're kind of disappearing. And people are kind of going, well, hey, is that a sign that more people are looking at gold? Is it just a really good deal? All that kind of stuff. It's something that can have advantages and something that can have disadvantages. The disadvantage is that these are priced very high because they don't fluctuate with spot price. They pretty much come in the morning and go, hey, this is what the price is, and then they hope that spot doesn't shift too much in one day. In saying that, obviously, if spot price massively changes, there is a chance for some gains to be made. But yeah, they're really obviously trying to price it high enough that isn't a concern for them. At the end of the day, they don't want to be losing money on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's also interesting even just to look at the licensing deals and things like that, because Costco in Australia, I've seen stock ABC bars. That's what we stock here. But then the ones in the US seem to have an exclusive with PAMP.
Yeah. I think it's I also, as you know, you always take any news headline with a pinch of salt. When it says they sell out within hours, I'd like to know how many bars are they getting in stock. That's
exactly. You
can really
you can twist it.
You can paint whatever picture you like, really. But I think it's interesting in general, and we often say that raising awareness of bullion as an option for people is something that this channel is one of our core focuses, is just increasing education and awareness around bullion as a concept. And so in that sense, it's always nice when my wife drags me along to get any of the essentials you get. Do they sell any essentials at Costco? It's all, everything's just I need a thing this big of M&Ms. I need a bucket of pretzels. But anytime I find myself there, I do always I have a chuckle when I see the bullion there, because it's just nice to see it. I guess in such a mainstream environment, sometimes it can feel like a bit of a fringe concept. But when you start to see it in places like Costco, I think it's a good thing, and hopefully it encourages people to take a further look into bullion as a concept, and maybe find their way into the Bullion Now family and can get really involved to the point where they're watching a live stream of Matt and Ruben absolutely tearing it up on the airwaves on a Friday afternoon
while their boss is riding different airwaves.
Oh jeez. If only he's gonna love this when he watches this back. I hope.
It should be good. I think we need to start looking at wrapping things up.
We've gone for a bit. I'll be honest, I was never worried that we'd be able to yak for an hour and a half, but it's been rock solid. Are there any other major? Do you know if we have any upcoming things this week other than?
Like I said, I'm expecting it to be a big week with Michael back. I want to do a bit of a these are the pre-order items that we've had arrive. Like you showed before, we've had the Super Pit actually arrive. We've had the Kilo Cook arrive. I don't think you showed that one.
Can I?
Yeah, go for it. So for those waiting on pre-orders on the Kilo Kookaburra, we've had those now arrive as well.
Do you want to look at it on the super lens?
We can if you want.
I can't fit the whole thing in.
It's too zoomed in.
That gives you an idea of the scope. That looks great, seeing it up that close.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to have those through. The Quokka, we're starting to see some of these flow through, which is a really good thing. So I kind of want to do a bit of a video highlighting all of them. That's it. We've got the XAU that we sneak released earlier.
So which one? What did we sneak release? Oh, the XAU.
The XAU minted. So yeah, definitely.
Ta-da! Aw.
sorry. Yeah, okay. So yeah, hopefully a lot coming up next week. Looking forward to it.
We didn't even talk about the Pride of Australia.
Well, that's it. The Pride of Australia is another one that's come through that we were excited to actually see in person.
Did you know that nugget was stolen?
I did after our journey to the State Library. That was a good one. So yeah, no, very cool to see some of these come through, and that's it. I'm hoping we can figure out some sort of arrangement to get these a little bit earlier so we can have them for videos, because that's it. Particularly with the Super Pit and the Quokka, there is absolutely a lot of releases that just do not look the same. They look so much better in person and compared to the computer designs that we kind of go, oh really? Is that what you're doing? You're just making a mess now. You're just playing.
Wow, this is incredible. Look at this. There's too much to fit. Plus this.
So yeah, stay tuned for next week.
And an update on the selling of the metal analytics machine.
That's it.
What's the story there?
We're waiting on Michael, and also that's it. We'll actually have to sit Michael down and see what the result was of him going to the Royal Mint, going to some of these other places. And,
will there be updates on milk spotting?
Yes, all that kind of jazz.
Get some insider knowledge.
And that's it. Hopefully, as people have been asking, hopefully we will have some specials or auctions lined up for next week's stream as well. Should be good.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Alrighty. Well, thank you very much for watching / listening if you're on YouTube or Spotify. And yeah, we will see you next week for some more live goodness. Thank you very much.
Been an absolute pleasure. Can't wait for the next one. Thank you very much.